Section 142 of 15,000 Useful Phrases by Grenville Kleiser. Read for LibriVox.org by David Best. I remember a reference made. I remember an intimation. I remember full well. I remember the enjoyment with which. I remember to have heard. I repeat, I am not speaking. I repeat my statement in another form. I respectfully counsel. I respectfully submit. I rest my opinion on. I rise in behalf. I rise to express my disapprobation. I rise to thank you. I rise with some trepidation. I return, in conclusion, to. I return you my most grateful thanks. I said a little way back. I said it would be well. I said that I thought. I salute with profound reverence. I sanction with all my heart. I saw an ingenious argument the other day. I say frankly. I say in moderation. I say it is extremely important. I say it most confidently. I say no more of these things. I say not one syllable against. I say then, my first point is, I say this is no disparagement of. I say this the more gladly. I say without fear of contradiction. I see around me. I see as clearly as any man possibly can. I see little hope of. I see no exception. I see no possibility of. I see no reason for doubting. I seem to hear you say. I seize upon this opportunity. I seriously desire. I set out with saying. I shall add a few words. I shall address myself to a single point. I shall ask you to look very closely. I shall be told. I shall best attain my object. I shall bestow a little attention upon. I shall certainly admit. I shall consider myself privileged. I shall desist from. I shall endeavor to be guided. I shall give it in the words of. I shall here briefly recite the. I shall here use the word to denote. I shall hope to interest you. I shall invite you to follow me. I shall just give the summary of. I shall never believe. I shall never cease to be grateful. I shall not acknowledge. I shall not attempt a detailed narrative. I shall not end without appealing. I shall not enlarge upon. I shall not force into the discussion. I shall not go so far as to say. I shall not hesitate to say something. I shall not tax your patience. I shall not undertake to prophesy. I shall not weary your patience. I shall now give you some instances. I shall now proceed to show. I shall often have to advert to. I shall pass by all this. I shall presently show. I shall proceed without further preface. I shall recur to certain questions. I shall say all this without entering into. I shall show that I am not. I shall speak first about. I shall speak with becoming frankness. I shall take a broader view of the subject. I shall take it for granted here I shall therefore endeavor. I shall touch upon one or two questions. I shall waste no time in refuting. I shall, with your sanction. I should be false to my own manhood. I should be surprised if. I should be the last man to deny. I should fail in my duty if. I should find it hard to discover. I should have forfeited my own self-respect. I should like at least to mention. I should like to emphasize. I should like to go a step farther. I should like to refer to two events. I should like to see that view answered. I should like today to examine briefly. I should much prefer. I should not be satisfied with myself. I should think it too absurd. I shrink from the contemplation. I shudder at the doctrine. I simply lay my finger on a fact. I simply pause here to ask. I sincerely regret the absence. I sincerely wish it were in my power. I solemnly declare. I sometimes hear a wish expressed. I sorrowfully call to mind. I speak forth my sentiment. I speak from no little personal observation. I speak of this to show. I speak the fact when I tell you. I speak the secret feeling of this company. I speak what I know when I say. I speak wholly without authority. I speak with feeling upon this point. I speak with some degree of encouragement. I speak with the utmost sincerity. I speak within the hearing of. I stand in awed amazement before. I stand in the midst of men. I still view with respect. I submit it to every candid mind. I submit that in such a case. I submit that it is high time. I submit this proposition. I summon you to do your share. I suppose it is right to answer. I suppose it to be entirely true. I suppose most men will recollect. I suppose that everyone who listens to me. I suppose there is no one here. I suppose we are all of one opinion. I suspect that is why we so often. I sympathize most heartily. I take a broader and bolder position. I take it for granted. I take leave to say. I take one picture as an illustration. I take pleasure in saying. I take the liberty of observing. I take this instance at random. I take two views of. I tell him in reply. I tell you, gentlemen. I tender my thanks to you. I thank you for having allowed me. I thank you for the appreciative tone. I thank you for the honor. I thank you for your most generous greeting. I thank you for your thoughtful courtesy. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you very gratefully. I thank you very sincerely for the honor. End of section 142. This recording is in the public domain.